Hi Capricorn, welcome to your March 2020 General Tarot reading. It's Serena here. Whoa, this guy fell out. Well, I'm going to put him back. I was just kind of like going like this with all the cards. And the Two of Cups, which is a card of reuniting with somebody or committing to somebody, it kind of flipped over. But I didn't feel like I should just pick that one as the card because I saw it, but just to let you know that it happened in case that is a message for you. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. I just want to let you know because I just did Virgo's reading and I got the Devil card, which is associated with Capricorn. And I got a couple of these cards in the Virgo reading. So I'm wondering if the Virgo, I even got the High Priestess. I wonder if the Virgo is dealing with Capricorn. But it almost seemed like kind of a clandestine or, extramarital situation. I don't know. I'm just collecting the excess cards here so that I have a lot of room to do my thing. So the heart of the matter is the Hangman, and this is kind of being in this state of limbo where you're just kind of hanging out, and maybe you're waiting for somebody. That's I was mentioning about this connection with Virgo, so I don't know if that makes sense to any of you. Just wanted to pass that along. But that sense of like waiting perhaps for somebody else to make a decision. And that kind of feeling is always very helpless because it's like it's like the other person is holding all the cards, pardon the pun, where they are the one who is in that position of power in a certain sense. And it can feel very disempowering to be on the receiving end of that. So you may be up in the air about something. And that, that can have any kind of context to it. For instance, waiting to find out if you've gotten the job. But we do have in the past position here the Ten of Cups, which is the card of marriage and, I would say like commitment or even like family harmony. So issues surrounding that. So maybe there is, in some cases, like if you got married and then the other person went to basic training or something like that. And it's like you really are waiting to get your life together. Or perhaps you were planning on a wedding and it never transpired. And there's always an excuse. The other thing about the Hangman is it can be a period of time when nothing is happening. It's kind of like a in-between period. Or it can be that you are surrendering to the situation. There's a certain acceptance to it and you're not trying to push matters. You still may be hoping that something transpires, but you're not actively doing anything. The higher message is the Seven of Cups, which is a card of, in some cases, deception. Oh, well, it's about wishful thinking. And so it may be telling you as a spiritual message that your refusal to move on from the situation is a sign that you're kind of in this confused state. And perhaps you still care for somebody and you are not interested in just moving on with your life. But it could be suggesting that that is what you must do, because, well, it doesn't really say it in and of itself, but it hints at perhaps this, I would even say like self-deception. I don't know if that's the official definition, but it seems to me that it would work for this particular context. Also, the Seven of Cups is about discernment, about having a lot of choices at your disposal, but perhaps being, not really sure which is the best one for you. So if there is something that you have, because the Ten of Cups to me can also be that sense of perhaps getting what you want, although the Nine of Cups is really about that. Ten of Cups has that relationship to the family, especially. And, how they say that there are a lot of fish in the sea. There are more fish in the sea. Even if you remember good times, if you're married and you had good times, it may be over, and you may have this inability to move on, and there are a lot of options for you, but you can only see one. What crosses you is the Ace of Wands. Yes, this is the same card I got for Virgo in the same position. And what I was saying to Virgo is that the Ace of Wands has a very springy kind of connotation to it, with the leaves sprouting out of the wands, and it's really supposed to be about creativity and kind of, to me, that time of year with the renewal. And of course, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, the Ace of Wands definitely has that side to it, where it's all about the the newness of the season. It's the astrological new year on March 19th, and yet it's in the challenge position. So these are like, and it doesn't have to be like talking about seasons, but it can definitely be about starting a new phase in your life and feeling very happy about, very enthusiastic and independent. And yet it's in the challenge position, so that means that there is something that you need to do in order to truly begin a new chapter. And I would say with the Hangman, it's get off the cross. Get off the cross, meaning don't stop atoning for some imaginary sins. You deserve happiness, Capricorn. And for some reason you may feel like that's not true, that you don't. Maybe you're blaming yourself if a marriage failed. And perhaps you did have a part in that, if that is true. However, you also may have realized as soon as you found out the other party was unhappy being in the relationship, that you had made a mistake. And that's the important thing, is being able to learn from one's mistakes. But in this particular context, you may be like holding on to a relationship that is no longer viable because you really don't feel like, you feel like you have to show that person that you really did care. And it's like it might be too late in the sense that the other person has moved on and you have the opportunity to move on. And that's the important thing, is not, You know, you've been going through a lot of changes, especially oh yeah, I forgot about this because in January, there was a lunar eclipse in Cancer. So that's your opposite sign, opposite house, 7th house. So that could have been a time, or even in February, if it kicked in February for you, where it really has altered the landscape of the committed partnership. And perhaps the other person wanted out, and you say, you know what, I was a workaholic, for instance. It's all my fault. And yes, maybe you did contribute to the relationship ending, but when you know better, you do better. And you were doing what you thought was right then. Now you have more information to work with. So, yeah. What's coming in are the advice, the High Priestess. This is a card of be still and know, a card of looking to a higher authority. In other words, and also this is a card of passivity. You're a cardinal sign, Capricorn, so you tend to want to just like do something about it, whatever it is. And what can happen is that in some cases, it's really not possible to do anything by taking action. So we have 2 cards here, just like I got for Virgo, which are really encouraging surrender to the unknown. You know, the High Priestess is the unknown, or the mysteries of life, and not trying to control everything. And perhaps that can then ultimately bring you peace. And the outcome is the Ace of Cups. I like to see this. This is new love coming in. You know, I wonder if there's even like, because this can be like conceiving a child. Maybe this is all about a fertility issue for some people, where you've gotten married and maybe you have this. I was even wondering if this is like a second marriage, or you're blending children, but you wanted a child together and waiting and hoping, and but something didn't happen. But I think that with the High Priestess, it's really doing self-inquiry to find out what could be the blockage, you know, because I do think sometimes it's at an energetic level that there's resistance, you know, to it for whatever reason. But that could be like conceiving a child. And I don't care about the time frame of this. I would say, it's going to be somewhat maybe in the next 90 days, but that's kind of arbitrary. I'm just putting it out there. Let me think about something. So I'm doing this for Capricorn. Yeah, the 5th house is the house of conceiving children. And when there's going to be a new moon in that house at 4 degrees of Taurus in America, what is called Earth Day, April 22nd. So who knows, right? Maybe that's when everything takes off for you. But yeah, so this has, the High Priestess is a spiritual card, and the Ace of Cups has a spiritual connotation to it. So if you're waiting to hear from a job, and maybe you're going to start a job that has some kind of spiritual connection or healing connection. Actually, even both of those, the Hangman and the 7 of Cups, are connected to Neptune, which is Pisces ruler. And, the High Priestess, somebody told me what the High Priestess was related to. I couldn't remember, but obviously it has a spiritual connotation to it. And Ace of Cups, so new beginnings with something, could be like a healing arts career. So who knows? Maybe you've been waiting to get started with that. But I think you're going to. I think that you're going to. You know, you might have a little. You know, I just realized too, is that because the Mercury retrograde is lasting until March 9th, and then it's going to be out of its shadow on March 30th. So, or March 31st. So perhaps at the very end of the month, things start to kind of get rolling. And for you, that new moon in Aries on March 24th, that is in your home sector, 4th house. So for what that's worth, Capricorn, this might be a domestic issue. Okay, that's what I have for you. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like a personal reading, I do mainly astrological readings using your chart. Please check me out at rainandmoonastrology.com. The link is below. Thanks for watching. Bye.